Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Today we're going to be playing with some Kraft colored cardstock, which is basically like a brown, lighter brown colored cardstock, and stencils with some dye-based inks. So you can see here, these are kind of a couple samples that I've made. Actually, it's not true. I had already filmed the video. It didn't work. I filmed the side of my face again. And so now we're doing take two. So these are the cards that I originally made, just using dye-based inks, stencils, and Kraft cardstock. Now these guys were actually done directly onto a card base, but unfortunately I don't have any more card bases, so we're going to be doing it onto just some card fronts and then sticking them onto a card base. So just going to get into it here. Basically what you can see here though is that you still get some quite lovely colors. It's just not as bright as if you were using these dye-based inks on, say, a white cardstock, like a much lighter color, but you can still get some quite lovely, more muted tones using the dye-based inks on Kraft cardstock. So that's what we're going to give it a go here with. So the first one that I'm going to do is I am going to do a bit of a background here. Um, and what I want to do is I'm going to pull out. So again, this is Distress ink. And utilizing Distress ink allows me to, again, it's a dye-based ink. It will absorb into the paper. It's not going to sit on top. And it's going to give us a nice little, it's going to saturate into the paper versus a pigment ink or oxides, distress oxides. Those sit on top of the paper. So we want to be able to have this absorb in a little bit into the paper so that it dries very well. So I'm just going to take this. This is Lost Shadow. And what I want to do, let me tap off a little bit here, and I'm just going to be going around and adding a little bit of paw detail. Okay. Using this lighter gray. I don't want it to be, as I said, I don't want it to be too intense here. I'm not doing it all over the card either, like all over the front. I'm just adding it in certain spots just to add a little bit of texture into our background for any areas that are not going to be covered by the other stencil that I'm going to be using. Oh, okay, so this on and to get a baby wipe here and a microfiber cloth. I'll give this a bit of a wipe here. Okay. Oh, side, put that side. Okay, and I'm going to put my stencil out of the way here. So you can see here that we got a very fine detail. Okay, so you can see some of the paw prints, which is what I wanted. I didn't want it to be really deep and intense on there. I wanted it to just kind of have a little bit of detail going through there. Now I'm going to bring in my second stencil and just place it in place here. So this is, I have no idea where this stencil is from. Um, I've had it for quite some time, but it's this really cute heart, obviously with paw prints and whatnot in it. Now, before I get into ink blending here, I am going to put some tape down along this edge because when I didn't do that yesterday, I got a weensy bit carried away and ended up adding ink to my card panel. I was able to fix it, but yeah, no point in making it more difficult on myself if I don't need to. Okay, so for this, I am going to pull out some rainbow colors, and I am using my dye-based inks. So these are my Lavinia Elements by Lavinia. The first color I'm going to be using is Sahara, which is one of the yellows. This is kind of the deeper tone of the yellows too. They just came out with a new one called Lemon Drop, and it's very, very pretty, but it's quite light. And so I do want the yellow to still be able to stand out a bit on the Kraft Color cardstock. So I am going to be utilizing the deeper toned yellow. Yeah, I'm just gonna pop in here and lay down some color. Now, when it comes to the yellow, I think I've said this before, when you're doing rainbow colors and things like that, you want to take the yellow further than you think you need to, because it's going to be the color that's going to be absorbed into the reds and the oranges and the greens and the blues kind of thing. It's going to um, those colors will creep into the yellow a lot. So if you give yourself more room to work here, um, it'll give you the space to blend into and still hopefully still have some yellow when you're done. Okay. All right, so just giving that a bit of a wipe. Now I'm going to come up to the top here, and I think, yeah, I think I'm actually just going to go with my red. Don't think I'm going to use the orange. So I'm going to go with my red into the yellow here, which of course will give me an orange, right? Let's get that magnet out of the way. Okay. And we're going to blend. So, and I am bringing my red color all the way down into the yellow. This will give me a nice, where the yellow has already been put down, it'll give me an orange into a red because we're going a orangey biv, so red, orange, yellow. Brush away. And pop that to the side and grab the microfiber cloth, give it a bit of wipey down. And mostly the only reason why I'm wiping it right now is to try and help me not get too much contamination between my brushes, between my colors. Okay, now I am going to go in with a green. For those that don't know, green is my favorite color. So I do like to make sure that I have the green in there. And I am going to be bringing that in, coming in here again, right along that strip of yellow. As I said, the yellow is going to be the first color that's going to, your other colors like your green, your orange, your red, the blue, those are going to blend into the yellow the most. So it's going to be, that strip of yellow is going to shrinky dinky. So you want to make sure that's why you give yourself more of the yellow than you think you're going to need. Bit of a wipe. Some green. Now I'm going to pull in my blue. The color that I'm using here is Blue Lagoon. Sorry, I don't think I did this one. This is Green Parrot, which is one of their new colors. And Emperor Red is the red color that I had used. Let's get some ink on the blue on the go, tapping off into the lid. And blending. So, and the nice thing is when you're using this blue and it goes into the green a little bit, you'll get kind of an aqua color or a turquoisey color. So again, not the end of the world if your colors start to mix a little bit. A little bit more intense down here. Okay. Put that brush away. And the last color that I'm going to use for this particular card is Flying Fig. And again, it's a very new one and it is incredibly juicy, this little guy here. So I'm actually just going to take the little bit from the lid rather than from the pad. And you'll just see how like it's very already quite intense enough without actually having to take directly from the pad. So get to know, that's one of the nice things about utilizing these kind of techniques is that you get to know your ink pads, which ones have a lot of juice on them, which ones don't. How does it work with your blending brushes? What's the overall end look going to end up looking like? The more that you play with them, the better you get to know them and we'll get to see what those kind of techniques will bring you, right? I'm very familiar. So the reason why I decided to do this is, of course, as watching video, I'm always watching a video. But I wanted to check and see. So we'll see the reveal here, peel off the tape and I'm gonna lift off the stencil. Look at how well, even though it's kind of gone on to this brown, we're getting this beautiful saturation of color. So you can see here, even though I didn't pull in the orange, I still have a red to an orange to yellow, still seeing some of the yellow, green, blue, and then the purple. So I've got a really nice transition of color. But as I was saying, one of the things I wanted to try this technique because I've never really done dye-based inks on Kraft cardstock, so I wasn't really sure how they would react. I'm very familiar with how they react and how they work on my white cardstock and just in the simple basics of how they typically are used. But this was new to me, and I thought, oh, might be new to you guys too. So let's give it a go. Okay, giving my stencils a little bit of wipe down. Okay, so I've now put that to the side just to give a little bit of time for it to dry because again, it's a pigment-based ink, so it is water-based, or sorry, not pigment-based, dye-based. So it is water-based, which means it might, and we added quite a bit of water and what a lot of ink onto it, so it's going to take a moment. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I will do another panel then. And the panel that I'm going to do is, what I want to do is I'm going to put this little bit of tacky tape on the back of here, tape that down to my surface, like this, so that that doesn't move underneath my stencil. So I've got this larger star stencil now that I'm going to pull out. And same thing as the last time, I am going to pull out. Let's see. I think I want to use tricolors of blues. So I think I'm going to use the gray again. Um, no, you know what? I'm going to try the soft signet. This is another newer color. It's kind of a taupey color, taupey brown. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to ink up. And the same thing. I'm adding this because I want to add a little bit of, again, some color or a little bit of texture and depth to my background. And my stencil that I've chosen is kind of going to come in from the sides this way. So I really only need to add some color kind of in the center. I don't know why I got so heavy duty over there, but that's okay. I'll work with it. So I'm bringing in this soft signet, which again is kind of like a taupey color. Um, but yeah, as I was saying, I want to play with my inks. I want to test them out. I want to see how they work in different mediums. This is how you become more proficient. People, I'm not an expert at these things. I just play a lot with them. I watch some videos, I watch the techniques, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, I can do that. There's no reason why I can't do that. And then I play with it. If I make a boo-boo, I know enough about my inks and things like that because I've played with them on how to fix it then. What will my inks do? What won't it do? What can I lift off of my cardstock? What can I not lift off of my cardstock, for example? Those kind of things. And the only way that you get to know that is by playing with them in differing ways. Okay. So now, even from here, the camera is picking up those beautiful tones of it because of the color of the ink. It's almost a tone on tone with this lovely Kraft cardstock. Now I have two different um, stencils here. So this is one of the ones that I was thinking of, but what I really think I want to do is I want to do this kind of mandala effect, but I'm going to bring it halfway in. And I don't want, see how this has a pretty harsh line where these are cut off. I don't want the line. That's what I ended up with on in this example is this is where my stencil came in like this and the edge of the mandala came right up to the edge of the stencil. So it gave me this really cool negative space in here. But for this one, I really want to do like this and then up like this. So that's going to be my plan here. So in order to do that, I want to bring this in here. And I think I've got it pretty much, that should be about halfway. So I'm going to, let's see here. Yeah, that should be about halfway. And I'm going to stick down these guys, but I'm also going to put a layer of tape here because I get carried away. I get carried away. So just to make sure that I'm not going to run over the edge with my inks, because that's what happens when I get too carried away, a little too excited. I get carried away right there. So I'm going to do that. And I also want to have that sit there. Now, I want to create a rainbow using the same sort of things. But what I'm going to start with is yellow, orange, and then red. So I'm going to have my petals here be quite red, or the brighter red color is going to be there. So again, I'm going to start with my yellow and mostly that, oh, sorry, I'm lying. I'm using shades of blue on this one. I forgot. I forgot. Okay. So I'm going to pull out my blue brushes, and I am pulling out some, I have one ink here that I've had for quite a while. This is the dark denim, and the Della Blue. So the dark denim is newer to me, Della Blue, and then this midnight blue, which is almost like a deep, deep, deep navy. So we're going to start with the Della Blue because that is the lightest of the three colors. Yeah, I think what I want to do is I'm going to do the Della Blue here, then the darker, is I think what I want to do. Yeah. So let's shift these guys out and ink up the little brush. Tap off a little bit and put my hand here so that I remember not to get too carried away. We I was having such a good time ink blending on the previous video that I had done yesterday. I was just going to town with the yellow and was like, oh dear. Yeah, that's actually the edge of my, because I had done it right onto the card too, like onto my card base. So I was like, oh, I don't even really want, it's not going to look great if I try to trim it from there. That's not going to be great. So yeah, fortunately enough, what I was able to do is take one of my stencils, and I just went in with kind of the same similar color, the earlier gray color that I've been using, just kind of went over it. So I was able to fix it. But again, that is something that you learn by playing with your inks. Is I was like, okay, I can fix this. I can fix this. It's okay. It's doable. It's always funny to me when I do things like that when I'm doing a video because it's like, oh, well, at least you guys get to see how would I fix it? What would I do? Don't throw it away. This is salvageable. It's okay. All right. So next color that I'm going to go in with is this dark denim. This is a very dark blue, darker certainly than the Della blue. So I'm going to ink up, tap off a couple of times, and I want to move that out of the way here. Now I am keeping, despite the fact that I have this magnet right here, I am keeping my finger on here just to try and make sure that there's a lot of fine details and lines in this stencil, and I want to make sure that I'm getting as much of the detail as possible on these guys. Okay. The interesting thing, because I could flip this up, but I'm gonna wait for the reveal. Wipe as well. Here, whoop, that, and clean my brush just a bit. And we're gonna come into the midnight blue. Now this is a brand new ink pad. You can see I haven't even opened it yet. So this is, oh yeah, and look at, as I'm pulling it, you can see how the circle is hitting on there as it's drawing up the ink from deep in the pad. So this is going to be very intense color. Okay, so I'm keeping it at the top here, but I am pulling that down very gently. I'm not pushing really hard with my brush. I am just pulling it down very gently. So concentrating up in the top area where I want the most saturation of color, but then also bringing it down just a little bit down into the next layer. Okay. Yeah, let's put that here to the side. Alrighty. Now, give this a bit of a wipe. Like so. And we'll pull this up and have the reveal. Let's see. Oh my goodness, that is so nice. Okie dokie. So let's do that. And I'm going to give this. Nope, I'm not going to be able to do that because I taped it down, which is good, but let's give that a bit of a clean. Okay, and a bit of a dry. There we go. Stick it back down. And what I'm going to do is utilizing the same kind of corner. I'm going to come in a little bit more here, I think. Yeah, I'm coming right up to the edge there. So this will give me a little bit more stencil to work with. And I'm going to come in and put down my tape again. because I get too carried away. All right. And I'm going to do this edge, and this edge. And just got that onto my white desk. That quick wipe. Now, because the darkest color is still on here, I'm going to start with the midnight. And I'm actually, look at, I'm just tapping into the lid and you can see how much of that midnight is still coming off of here. So I'm going to start with this color because it's already on my brush. And I'm going to continue to have the same pattern. So I'm having the darker blue here, moving into the mid-tone, and then my lighter tone. I'm just reversing how I'm putting them on because there's already so much ink on this brush, and I don't want to have to wipe it off just to move to my other mid-tone. It's kind of a wasting of ink. So because I'm already here, I can do that. So I'm going to put my main part of my saturation down in this area, but can just start to see just a little bit of it blending into this area, which is where I'm going to put my mid-tone and then my lighter tone. Okay. Right. So let's put that on there and we'll give this a bit of a wipe. That will help to move once I need to move to the mid-tone from my darker tone to my mid-tone. So I'm going to give this a bit of a wipe off, bit of a buff onto my microfiber cloth here, which will help clean it out just a little bit. It doesn't have to be totally cleaned out because we're using similar tones, but I do want to make sure that I'm now moving into my mid-tone. And we're going to come in here from the side and start blending. Again from the side and from here. And I'm going to move this mid-tone up into the dark tone and down a little bit, moving it just a little bit, very softly blending as I move further up my card base here, because that will help then when I bring in the light tone, I can blend it up into my mid-tone. But I want that to be very soft. Okay, pretty happy with what that looks like based on what I can see through the stencil. Obviously, I can't see all of it, so we're guesstimating, but based on how well this turned out, this should turn out pretty good. Okay, giving that a bit of a wipe down. Putting the stencil back into place here, and we're going to bring in again the lighter tone now. And loading up the brush. Tap off and coming in from the side, bringing in the color. Clean up a little bit again, tapping off, coming in from the side. So in general, when you're masking something or when you're ink blending as well, it's really good idea to start on your stencil or off from the side, off of your cardstock, whatever, moving into the center. That helps you take a little bit off of your brush so that you don't get one big chunk of color right there. And it helps to diffuse the color or the ink. It really does help prevent getting this one big giant splotch in one particular area. Not to say that I haven't done that before, because I have. Sometimes a good handy tip when things like that happen, it's a perfect place for your sentiment. If you can't fix it and you can't add more, like you can add more ink to try and help blend that out so that you don't end up having that harsh line. Oh, and I just pulled my stencil right off of there. Okay. Oh, that looks gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up my tape. I'm also gonna pull off that tape that's on the back. And look at how cool is that? So you can see the different shades blending really nicely one into the other. I'm going to put that to the side here for a second. And I'm going to wipe up my glass mat. Put that buff off. Move these to the side here. And now I'm just going to quickly do a quick little clean off of my stencil. Remove a little bit of the color. You can see this is, I believe I did, I think I did a gilding flakes thing with this where I had like sticky glue and whatever. So you can still see there's some stuck to it. But still gave really crisp images on the stencil, on the thing that I just ink blended. So it's the nice thing about supplies like this. They don't necessarily, there's a lot that you can do to them. kind of give them a good cleaning when you can, but some of that stuff will still stick. Okay, so now we're just going to turn these into cards. So I've already trimmed these down. They should be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to put them on standard A2 size cards. And I am going to be using, instead of a white, and like I said, I don't have any more of the craft, I'm actually going to put it on this kind of taupey color. So I'm going to keep it kind of tone on tone. So I'm going to stick this down. Now, if I wanted to, I could for sure make this like I could pop this up and put foam tape behind here, but I'm just going to keep it as single layer as possible. Technically, if I'd have blended this right onto the card, that would have been single layer, absolutely. But because I didn't, as I said, I ran out of cardstock. I don't have any more because I cut them all down into panels to use them this way at some point. So here we go. All right. Now, I have pulled out a few different things that I want that as possibilities to use. So I have some really cute little puppies here that I have colored, and some dog bones and a dog bowl that I thought would be really cute to go with the heart. And then a couple of sentiments. So I have this nice silver happy birthday, which I think the silver is a little too bright on here. I think the gold tone like this is much nicer. It's kind of more subtle. You know, that I kind of, yeah, I like that. Get over here, that's not bad. But I also like, I heard today is your birthday, which is cute. And then this little guy, get how cute that would be. That could be very cute there, yeah. That's kind of cute. So I heard today's your birthday. I could put him down here in the corner, but I kind of like, eh, that's very cute. I also like to make a wish. Okay, so I have them make a wish instead. I'm going to try some out. Now I think that this make a wish has just a bit too much, like it's too white. So it's kind of standing out pretty, it's pretty stark on there is what it feels like. I do like this happy birthday like this is kind of cute. But I think what I could do is I'm going to use this. I heard today's your birthday. I like this little guy in the gray, but I like this little guy. So I think I'm going to use one of these guys on the inside. I'm going to put this Make-A-Wish to the side. And this white one is still a little too white. So what I want to do is I'm going to come in with the blending brush that I used the Lost Shadow on. So that was this one here. And I'm not going to add any more color to it. But what I want to do, well, I might end up adding a little bit more color to it, but I'm just going to go around the edge here, just add a little bit of shading around the edge, taking kind of the starkness off of that. This is why it's nice to have this like as just some sentiments that are already done. So this is obviously just it was a stamp that I had that I stamped with black pigment ink and then heat embossed with clear heat embossing. So you get that nice little bit of shine. But I can come in with a little bit of ink because it's already white. So I can add just a little bit of shading to it. It doesn't have to be a lot, just to take that bit of an edge off so that it's not quite so stark onto my card, particularly because it's not going onto white. It's going onto like onto the craft card. Okay. So I think this is quite adorable. So I heard today's your birthday. I'm going to stick that down. Now, do I want to pop this up? I think I'm going to pop the puppy up for sure. But I think I'm gonna, in order to keep it again, because I'm trying to keep this fairly flat, I'm going to stick this down, just adhere it flat, and then I'll add a little bit of double-sided adhesive, like pop up for the puppy there. Okay, so I'm gonna put this quite centered-ish. There we go. And we'll get some. Oh, and I even still have some of these guys left. That'll make it easier for the puppy. Okay, I have this lovely strip that I got from, whoa, I want to say Penny Black, but don't quote me on that. It's been a minute since I've had these. but they're these nice thin strips, which would be great because there's not a lot of body area on this puppy here. So let's get his tail. Oh, that's going to hang on there just enough. Get his posterior down the leg, I think. Yeah, there we go. Let's get the bone and front legs here. We'll put some body here and a little bit more on the head. All right. Yeah, good. Okay, so I'm just going to pull these pieces off and put them. Okay, managed to get a piece of release paper stuck up in my nail. I don't even know how that happened. Where is he? Come on. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up my tweezers just so that I can look here at where I'm putting them down. And I'm gonna put him down just above the I heard. So it kind of looks like he's standing on the I heard today is your birthday, right? I think that's pretty cute. Then on the inside, what I think would be quite lovely is to can do this little guy like that. We're gonna put this bit of adhesive here. That and think, let me see here. I want to do think I could kind of do a little piling up of some dog bones here. Kind of like this, a little pile of happy birthday dog bones to you, right? It's cute. Kind of like that. That's cute. Then I'll put this inside with the guy that's on the inside, I think. All right, let's see if I can recreate that. One, bigger guy here. Oh, that's not on your tweezers. Oi, there we go. This would be a great little birthday card for anybody that is a pet lover kind of thing. It's got a doggo. Doggo. Now, do I want to add that in? It's cute. I might just leave him. You know what? I'm just going to leave it as the puppy. Okay. Save these guys for another card. Put that to the side. And I'm just going to put some stamp blocks on this thing to let it dry while I do complete the last one. So those all hold together there. Now, last card here. Peasy, that's gonna do. So I'm gonna do the same card base, kind of this neutrally taupe color, I guess. You could also really, if you really wanted this to pop off of there, you could chalk your edges too, right? Add some distressing around the edge of the card front. That would be really quite lovely as well. Now, with this one, because it seems a little bit more, the word that I'm going to use is elegant, I pulled out a few different sentiments to use with this guy to go with this one. So we've got this really lovely kind of blue on blue. I was thinking this Happy Mother's Day could be really quite nice on there. Let me hold that up. It's quite subtle from down below, but in person, it's actually not bad. We have a lovely thanks that you can see here. I haven't glued down the sentiment to the shadow. So what I could do is actually ink this in gold or add another color to it. Do that and then put the white over top. Have that be quite nice. That would be really lovely as well. I have a really nice thank you that just kind of, whoops, sits on there. I think that's really lovely. Just nice and simple, actually. It doesn't have to be much of anything else. I also have this really nice happy anniversary, which is again just some gold colored cardstock with a vellum shadow put onto it. I think that's really quite nice because the other thing that I could do is I've got these foiled butterflies that I had done quite some time ago, and I could even dun, dun, the anniversary. You know what? I think I like the thank you. And if I do the thank you, let's see here. Oh no, it's nice. But if I do the thank you like this, and then just add the butterfly off to the side here, just the one, that's really pretty, I think. Yep, I like it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let's stick down the thank you. Now, the other thing that I can do if I want to add some dimension to this card, because again, right now, I mean, technically it's two layers because I did have to glue down the card front, but it's very, very thin. I'm putting this down with just adhesive, so I'm not popping this up. And with the butterfly, I am going to just kind of, whoops, fudge. I am just going to pop up the wings just a little bit, but not a lot. So again, it will still mail flat because I'm just going to put a bead of glue just kind of right behind this part here and just add a little bit of bend to the wings. So we're going to add a little bit of glue for adhesive right there. And right. Oopsie. That to sit right there. And to still say thank you, just like that. Now, if I want, let me check and see if I have any. I mean, I do have so many flat back pearls, but we could add on. So I have added just a skosh of white because of the white that's on the butterfly. So that's an option. I also have some gold flat back pearls, but they're quite shiny versus this is quite matte. I don't really have any matted ones. So what I could do is, yeah, let's check this and see. This might be just enough. I might not need to add anything else, but I do have some ivory flat back pearls. Let's see here. It could be very, very nice. Just a nice little touch of something there. Oh, something shiny. We all know that I feel like you can't go wrong with a little something shiny. I'm so sorry. I don't know where that laugh has come from. Do you ever hang around with somebody and then all of a sudden notice that um like people who live in so obviously I'm in Canada, so I have whatever the Canadian accent is um in my speech patterns and things like that. But you ever get like people who go over to England and have spent a lot of time there. So Americans or Canadians that go over and spend a lot of time in England, we start to pick up accents and things like that. Well, I don't tend to do that, but what I do end up doing is I end up with this really hilarious um trait of I end up um laughing like other people. I pick up weird laughs like that. Yeah, it's very strange. I think I need to throw a third, like another one, because I've got three flow, but because of that um butterfly, I think it's throwing my ratio off just a bit here. So I'm gonna put this here like that. Yep, I like that. Okay. So using the ivory ones adds a little bit of sparkle still without being too competing with the gold, etc. All right, so let's move this to the side. Adhere those down. There we go. All righty. So that is going to be the class today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with friends if you think that you have somebody, not if you think, if you have someone who also likes to do paper crafting and card making and really want a step-by-step tutorial and want to be able to do it along with me, by all means, please like, comment, subscribe, share with them. If you do like my format of the uh, uh, long tutorial like videos or long class like videos, I will have my and feel like helping support me, you the link for my buy me a coffee is down in the description. If you want to help out and pay for a set of stamps or something like that, that'd be lovely. If not, again, content is free, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. I really love reading your comments, and remember to keep it kind. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this technique. Give it a try. You probably have the Kraft cardstock, you have some stencils, and probably have some dye-based inks. Pick your colors. Obviously, you can see I like using rainbows, but this was just straight blues, differing shades of blues. Looks great. Can use browns. Maybe for Christmas, I'll try one of these with white and gold and silver. We'll see. Anyway, that's going to be the video today, guys. I will see you in the next one. You all take care. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me.